The story of Big Meech and Lil Meech is one of the most fascinating and complicated family stories connected to American street culture, hip hop influence, and modern entertainment. Their journey begins in the city of Detroit, where two brothers built an organization that would later become famous across the entire United States. The man at the center of that story was Big Meech, whose real name is Demetrius Flannery, a figure who became widely known for building one of the most powerful drug organizations in America during the 1990s and early 2000s. The organization was known as BMF, which stands for Black Mafia Family, and it quickly grew from a small operation into a massive network that stretched across multiple cities in the United States. During the peak of BMF's power, Big Meech became a larger-than-life figure whose influence reached far beyond the streets. He built connections with music artists, nightlife promoters, and celebrities, creating a lifestyle that looked glamorous and powerful. Hip-hop culture often referenced BMF and its reputation because the organization represented wealth, power, and an image of success that fascinated many people within the music world. Parties, expensive cars, designer clothing, and connections with famous rappers helped turn Big Meech into a legendary name within street culture. However, the same lifestyle that created fame and influence also attracted the attention of federal law enforcement agencies. Investigators spent years building cases against the organization, eventually leading to major arrests that shocked the entire hip-hop community. The fall of BMF became one of the most talked about stories in crime history when Big Meech and other members of the organization were arrested and later sentenced to long prison terms for their involvement in large-scale drug trafficking operations. This moment marked the end of one era, but it also created the beginning of a completely different chapter for the Flannery family. While Big Meech remained behind bars, the next generation of the family was growing up. His son, known today as Lil Meech, whose real name is Demetrius Flannery Jr., grew up surrounded by the shadow of his father's legendary reputation. The story of BMF was constantly discussed in music, media, and documentaries, meaning that the name Meech already carried enormous attention long before Lil Meech decided to enter the entertainment industry himself. Many people wondered whether the son of such a controversial figure would choose to stay away from the spotlight or eventually embrace the history connected to his family name. Years later, something unexpected happened that would completely change the direction of that story. Famous rapper and television producer 50 Cent decided to create a television series based on the rise and fall of the Black Mafia family. The show would eventually become the hit crime drama BMF, which tells the story of how Big Meech and his brother built their powerful organization from the streets of Detroit into a nationwide empire. When casting began for the role of Big Meech, many fans were shocked by the decision that followed. Instead of hiring a traditional actor, the production team chose Lil Meech himself to portray his own father on screen. This decision surprised many people because acting is a difficult profession that usually requires years of training. Yet, Lil Meech accepted the challenge and spent months studying acting techniques, learning scripts, and preparing himself for the role that would introduce him to the world as an actor. When the BMF series finally premiered, audiences were curious to see whether the son of Big Meech could successfully bring his father's story to life. The results surprised many critics and viewers. Lil Meech's performance quickly became one of the most talked about aspects of the show because audiences felt that his connection to the real-life story gave the character an unusual level of authenticity. Watching the son portray the rise of his own father created a powerful emotional element that few television shows could replicate. The BMF series gained strong ratings, and millions of viewers began following the story of the Flannery family through this dramatic retelling of real events. Through the success of the television series, Lil Meech began building his own reputation separate from the shadow of his father. He appeared in interviews, public events, and entertainment media, showing a different side of the Meech name, one connected to acting, storytelling, and television success instead of crime. The transformation created a fascinating contrast between two generations of the same family, one generation becoming famous for building a controversial empire in the streets, the other becoming famous for bringing that same story to life on television screens around the world. Today, the story of Big Meech and Lil Meech continues to capture public attention because it combines elements of crime, history, family legacy, redemption, and entertainment culture. The rise of BMF, the fall that followed, and the unexpected return of the story through television has turned the Flannery name into a narrative that stretches across decades, from the streets of Detroit to the screens of millions of viewers across the globe. The journey of father and son shows how powerful stories can evolve over time, transforming from street legend into mainstream entertainment history.